10 years ago, my social anxiety had got so bad I couldn't even look anybody in the eye. My eyes would flick around wildly from side to side. I would have to avoid looking into their eyes directly by looking between their eyes, at their chin, at their nose, or at their mouth. And if I did look into their eyes, I would be absolutely terrified. I felt like people could look directly into my mind and could read my mind, and I could also see exactly what they were thinking. This whole situation got so bad that I actually thought I was going insane at one point. I contemplated suicide and I ended up on medication. Thankfully, I figured a way out of my problem, and in this video I'm going to break down the 5 simple steps that I used to overcome my fear of eye contact. Many of these steps are quick and very actionable, so I hope you'll be seeing results a few days after watching this video, and I hope that you'll be feeling much more relief and comfort when making eye contact with people. My first piece of advice is to let go of shame. A lot of the problem around eye contact is related to shame. We're embarrassed to have people look at us because we feel judged. We feel that they can somehow see what's going on with us, and we're not very happy about that, and we feel guilty and shameful about who we are and what we've done. A lot of this is to do with actually accepting yourself. You might feel ashamed of things that you've watched on the internet. Maybe you've been watching porn, or you've done things in your past that you're not proud of, or it may be related to sexuality. Often people that I speak to, and in my own experience, there were things around sexuality that I felt embarrassed about or shameful of. Maybe you didn't lose your virginity till much later in life because of your social anxiety. Maybe you've experimented with homosexual relationships. Any of these things, if we hold shame about them, when we're making eye contact, we can think, this person thinks I'm a real pervert, they know I've been watching porn, or whatever you feel ashamed about. So a big part of this is to just accept all parts of yourself. It's fine if you've had homosexual experiences. It's fine if you like to watch a bit of kinky porn on the weekend. A lot of this is really about being big enough, grown up, and self-compassionate enough to just accept all parts of yourself and be okay with people looking into you, because when they look at you, they are looking right at you, and you feel that they're looking into the contents of your mind, which they're not. But you need to come to an accommodation with yourself first. You need to be able to accept all those parts of yourself. It's fine if you masturbate. It's fine if you've got a bit of a kink in the bedroom. It's fine if you didn't lose your virginity till your 30s. Whatever it is, there's that big part of self-acceptance which gets rid of a lot of this shame, because I really found in my own life and with people that I talk to, there'll be different subjects that come up. Like I said, whether it's about sex, whether it's about something in your own social development, certain topics that you find taboo or uncomfortable, when they come up, you'll find yourself breaking eye contact. So it's really worthwhile to look at these different areas, these different things that you find taboo in your own life, and just learn to love yourself around them and accept them. And then you're not bothered if people look at you when they talk about those things or these topics come up in conversation. So a first really big part of this puzzle is to let go of the shame around yourself, to accept all parts of yourself. My second piece of advice is related to the first one, and that is to clean up your garden. Your garden being your mind or your internal mental landscape. An example of this from my own life was, I remember I'd been in my apartment all day binging on porn. I finally had a shower and ventured out in the evening to go and get some food, and I bumped into a very nice guy that I knew, very big, friendly, welcoming guy. And he really wanted to give me a firm handshake, really pleased to see me, and I dare not really give him my hand because I knew what I'd been doing with it all day, and I didn't really want to look him in the eye either because I knew what I'd been looking at all day. And I could tell he was almost a little bit hurt, sort of like, why are you acting so furtively and strange? Because I was carrying all this guilt of these 4 or 5 hour porn binges because I was addicted to pornography at that time. So that's the kind of thing that you don't just want to, for me, I didn't just want to accept about myself. That's something I really had to let go of and improve upon. So that's one of those things that I mean, where you can actually get rid of and you will feel less shameful around that. If you are doing things, for example, watching excessive amounts of pornography like I used to, that isn't good for yourself. So if there are things that you are actually ashamed about, that you don't want to accept, then it can be worth getting rid of those things. This is a way of cleaning your own internal mental garden. So just get rid of some of the behaviors that you think are particularly bad that you would like to improve. My third tip is to get rid of this cognitive distortion called mind reading. When you think that someone is looking right into your eyes and can read every thought you have, that is actually wrong. Although it seems very realistic real at the time, and I absolutely believed it myself 100%, and I felt that I could see exactly what they were thinking and feeling as well. That is not correct. As I developed, as I changed my mental makeup, as my worldview became more balanced and rational, I realized that this was not true and it was not the case. And I had so many experiences which actually proved otherwise. For example, people would see me doing something, say, oh, I know what was going on there, it was that, and it was actually something completely different. So many times I collected evidence and realized, oh, people don't know what's going on with you at all. People really do not know. They're very wrapped up in themselves naturally, that's fine. They cannot understand exactly what is going on inside you. And I know people in the comments may well say, oh, that's not true. I know people can see I'm nervous and so on. Even if people perceive that you're nervous, your level 10 anxiety meltdown might be perceptible as sort of mild anxiousness to another person. They might see you're a bit uncomfortable, even when you're having a full-blown panic attack. I know that because I've seen myself have a panic attack on camera before. And from the outside, it looked like nothing compared to what I was experiencing internally. So this is a well-known cognitive distortion called mind reading, and we really need to try and let go of it. You are safe within yourself. You're not completely transparent. People are often very bad at guesswork. They really don't know what is going on inside you. So when you're, say, talking to a colleague and you think, oh God, he's looking right into me, he knows how awkward I am, he can see everything. Try to develop a counter narrative which says that's actually unlikely. This person can neither know or feel just how uncomfortable I feel right now. They may not be thinking this at all. And the more you focus into this, the more you will see it. It's a bit like you create this kind of narrative which you feel yourself being pulled into. And you're like, oh yeah, it started. I can see the other person's in this with me now. I've created this weird thing with the eye contact. We're talking verbally, but really the eyes are saying something completely different. Now that is a well-known experience for myself and clients. Do not play into the game because it is really that. And another point on this is that when you have a hammer, everything looks like a nail, and that's called a confirmation bias. If you're sitting in a conversation looking at them thinking, I'm so wretched and pathetic and I make everyone so nervous, you will start to see that. You will read looks of pity in people's faces, and you will say, I know this is true because I saw the way he looked at me. There was this kind of really pitiful loathing in their eye of just like, oh my God, how can you be so weak and small and not even be able to handle eye contact? You're projecting that. The other person, I would guarantee in most cases, is not feeling that. What they will reflect back is the look in your eye. If you're looking like really petrified at the person, they will look a bit scared back, perhaps because of the mirror neurons that fire up in the brain. But when you think you're a loathsome, pitiful little wretch, you look into other people's eyes and then you're like, yep, I see it, there it is, exactly what I was expecting. I can see it in everyone's face. And I had this myself. I've worked with so many clients and I've seen clients come through this and have this realization of, wow, I was actually projecting this. I was going around looking for rejection everywhere, and that's where I found it in people's eyes. So if you do not project that, you will not find that if you're not looking for that in people's eyes. So please try to remember, people cannot see right into you and you cannot read exactly what's going on in them. It's a distortion of reality. Okay, number 4. Now this is a science-backed tip. I used to use this with clients before I knew the science behind it, and it is to actually spread out your vision. If you focus in very tightly on someone, this is your foveal vision, and we are meant to use this for reading and extreme focus. This actually triggers the sympathetic nervous system, because if you think about it in an evolutionary sense, normally we would have a much wider peripheral vision as we're scanning the environment. Then when we find something that arouses our interest, whether it be a predator or prey, we would then focus in on that and the sympathetic nervous system becomes activated. Nowadays we spend so much time on our phones and so on in this foveal mode of intense focus. It's activating the sympathetic nervous system and putting us in a more anxious state. And what I experienced and what I talk with to clients on calls is that when you're in a conversation, oftentimes they'll be focusing in on different parts of the face or even trying to focus in on the eyes. And when you do that, everything goes into hyper definition. Everything becomes extremely clear. And you're ramping up your anxiety by focusing in on different places. It's like you can see every pore on their skin or every micro movement of the eye, which tells you exactly what they're thinking and how shameful you are and how much they pity you and how pathetic you look in their eyes and so on. So the trick here is to expand out and soften your gaze. So you can soften the gaze to try and take in the whole face, and you can try and use this in your daily life as well. There's an exercise where you can bring your fingers forward and try and see them out of the corners of your eyes to get used to using your peripheral vision. You can also go out into nature and try and take in the whole vista in one view. Try and see a wide open space, whether that's looking at a shoreline, looking at a big forest, wherever it may be. But try to not use this very tight foveal vision so much, because that activates the sympathetic nervous system. And if you're doing that in a conversation, it's going to ramp up the anxiety and increase the intensity of your stare, which may make the other person anxious as well. So try to soften both literally with the gaze and also kind of metaphorically your mental state. Just soften things out. If it gets very tight and narrow, it all gets very sharp and hard. So try to soften the gaze, soften the face, and take in a wider view. My fifth and final tip is try to work on your general levels of relaxation. As the body and mind calm down, so does the movement of the eyes. They're very linked. Thoughts and eye movement are very linked. This is well known scientifically. And what I found as a kind of magical byproduct was just as I became more relaxed, as I did things like work on my breathing, did stretching, did all these things to try and calm myself, my thoughts started to race less. And as my thoughts raced less, my eyes stopped shaking around and jumping around so much. So if you've got very restless, jumpy eyes, that's because you've got a very restless, jumpy mind, and that may also be related to a very tense body. So try to just calm the body, try to soothe the thoughts and let things calm down. And as a byproduct, the eye contact will become easier and your eye movements will become less jumpy and erratic and smoother. Okay, I hope these tips have helped you. They've worked for me. They've worked for clients that I've coached. If you need any more help, please feel free to reach out to me at the contact email below this video in the description. Always happy to hear from people and try and help out where I can. If you're interested in coaching and working one-on-one, also feel free to reach out to me, and I look forward to seeing you guys in future videos. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel so you can stay updated on future content, and I'll see you guys all very soon.